Hey everybody, it is Mike Young. I am with the Health Optimization Cruise. You can see behind me, and I am here with one of our guests that's going to be on board, who is right now talking to us live outdoors in Richmond, Virginia. And actually, we recommend people get their vitamin D by spending time outdoors. So it's awesome because usually I'm the only one outdoors, and this time I'm in the studio. So this is Nichole Fogleman, and she's in Richmond, Virginia. She's a nurse practitioner, nurse anesthetist. And welcome, Nichole.
Yes, hello, Mike. Nice to see you.
Great to see
So,
you. I know that we met before in Virginia with your husband. My wife, Denise, and I met with you and your husband at a place, a plant-based restaurant there. And that was the last time I was in Richmond, actually. It was a couple months ago.
oh, really? Yeah, I took him to one of our favorite restaurants.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so good.
So we were out there eating plant-based. And, although you can't get as strict a food as we have, the health food that we have on our cruise, but actually, I wanted just to do a quick video where we talk about what you're going to do, because you're going to be on the cruise, and you're in this space, kind of helping people with pain management. So, kind of give us a preview, because I don't even know. I'm going to learn right now, like what you're going to be
Okay.
talking about on the cruise and what people can expect who sign up, and we'll tell you how to sign up too later in this video.
Okay. Well, thank you. And I'm really excited, Mike, to be on the cruise and to join everyone. So what I'm going to be talking to you guys about on the cruise is about mental health. And so I am actually one of the hosts at PBNSG. And this past year, we have done like a really deep dive into mental health. A lot of the people that I work with in chronic pain that have rheumatoid arthritis and they have chronic illness and then have had chronic pain related to their chronic illness, almost all of them suffer with some type of depression.
Mm,
And so I saw that with my mom. My mom actually, she suffered with chronic pain. And so that's why I, as an individual, have become so passionate and working with patients that have chronic pain. And so, what I have learned over the years has just been so fascinating what's going on in the mental health world. And a lot of this has come about since COVID. And actually, some of the theories began in the 1990s. And there was actually a gentleman by the name of R.S. Smith. And a lot of people don't even know about what happened in the 90s because back then is when the Prozac era began.
yeah.
And we have the whole monoamine theory, which we know about neurotransmitters, we know about serotonin and dopamine and all those things and what they do for depression.
Right.
And all the billions of dollars that Prozac made for Lilly Company. So, but what we don't know is that there was this scientist, this chemist that actually lived in California, and he started to study about the complexity of depression and about mood and about all the brain disorders like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's.
Right.
And what he discovered is that the whole thing that we talk about in the plant-based world, when we talk about inflammation and we talk about the gut microbiome, that all this is connected to our brain.
Mm,
And so it's really interesting. So back in the 90s, when he was doing all this work, he actually started to write a book about this and about depression, and he called it the macrophage theory of depression.
mhm,
And and unfortunately, he actually passed away
mm,
while he was writing the book. And so come to now, there's people that are out there, especially since COVID, that are trying to reintroduce this topic into the mainstream media. And so we start talking about it and how the whole gut brain axis and how it's all connected.
yeah.
And so that's what I'm going to be studying, or what I'm going to be talking about. I've been studying it for like a year and a half, and
Yeah.
I'm super excited to kind of go mainstream and really talk about it. So,
Well, that sounds hopeful, because a lot of what I hear out there, at least conventional wisdom, has been that, okay, I've got this condition. It's some type of chemical imbalance in my brain,
yeah.
and I can't do anything about it.
Yes,
That's it.
exactly.
So you're saying something different than that, that sounds hopeful, that maybe somebody can do something about, right?
Yes, exactly. That we can do, just like we're eating plants for our health and eating it to fight pain, eating it to help, coronary artery disease, that we can actually eat plants to help our brain and to help fight depression and other mood disorders.
And so
Yeah.
it sounds like that's a key part. I'm not saying it's the only part, but is it correct that a key part of getting better when you develop a condition like this is being very specific about what you're eating?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely. And eating, one of the things I've really been studying, we've been talking about in PBNSG, is
Mhm.
identifying foods that are like food as medicine. As as in the plant-based
Yes.
world, we talk food as medicine, and talking about foods that are like fermented foods. This past year, or actually the last 3 months, I've started making my own water kefir.
Ah,
And it's one of those, those cultures, those live organisms that I'm putting into my gut and to actually fight inflammation, to actually help with brain health. And it's just amazing. And actually, I was shared this with Paul Chatlin the other day.
mhm.
I actually had an injury like 3 years ago, and I had to have surgery on my foot.
Mm,
And I did get better, but I still had some pain in my foot, and I couldn't do like the really fun things that I love to do, like run.
yeah.
Well, since I swear I've been like beating my gut, I've been eating these fermented foods. I've been running. I ran 5 miles on Saturday without
Nice.
any pain. I've been running like every day with my dogs,
All right.
and I'm just really excited about it. So
Okay, so it sounds like there's some hope of the more you fine tune this, right? Even
yes.
yourself, because you're a professional, you're in this space, but even you are learning. I mean, I'm learning every day. I learn so many new things, and that's the good news, right? Is that these things that we learn, you can put into practice right away because they're not that difficult. It does require a habit change, right? But aside from
Yes.
that, you can implement it right away, and then you can start to see benefits, which is amazing. And this is what I'm going to say. Tell me if this is correct or not, or if you subscribe to this. Like the body, you're just kind of learning to provide what the body wants as food, and then it kind of basically, instead of being in survival mode, it starts to go into thrive mode. It starts to heal even more because you're providing the right environment. Is that correct?
That's correct, but also think about it as medicine, as these are different foods, potent foods that we can put into our guts and to actually heal and be
Okay.
medicine.
Okay.
So that's what I like to think about it as.
I agree. I agree with that because I try not to call pharmaceuticals medicine. I would try to call food medicine, and pharmaceuticals or
Yes.
drugs, or some kind of chemical compound. That's what they are. Food is the actual medicine, as long as you eat the right food. But I want to make sure the viewers out there understand you have to be very specific. And I wanted to kind of let you know that that's what we're doing with this cruise, right? Like I don't necessarily know if we'll have any of the fermented foods on the menu ourselves, at least not this year.
Right.
Nichole will be able to explain how and why you're going to want to integrate this into your lifestyle. And the food that we're going to provide is going to be things that we know are not going to harm you. Now, Nichole might provide something that's going to help you do even better, because we're always learning about new things, and that's extremely valuable. But like the stuff that we provide, that's the thing. Like I said earlier, we went to a restaurant with Nichole and her husband, but we couldn't really get that level of food that we have that will not harm you, at least, so your body's not in that survival mode all the time. And that's what we have. And if you want to learn more, go to healthoptimizationcruise.org. You'll find out that we have this food that we call healthy vegan food. It has 6 pillars, and I'll tell you very quickly, it means no added oil, no added salt, no refined sugar, no animal products, no alcohol, and no what's that? Oh, no, actually, the one thing that is positive is you must have whole plant fiber in the dish, because like Nichole was talking about, it's that gut microbiome, right? And that whole plant
Yes.
fiber is required, to be eaten, and in enough quantity, right? That's another thing. I guess people aren't eating enough, right?
Right. And it's the fiber that feed those microorganisms in our body, in our gut, and then got transposed to our brain. So
Yeah, so
Exactly.
that's the idea of the cruise is you're going to kind of be on an immersion or retreat where your body's going to be given time to recover. And while you're recovering for this week at the event, you have a lot of fun. We get to escape winter. That's the thing, because Nichole's outdoors. I see you got a little bit of a warm coat on because it's getting it's getting colder. The sunlight is less than it is at other times of the year. It's less intense, so you're going to get more vitamin D. You're going to get out of winter. And you're going to get to, just have fun is what it is. And like I said, go to healthoptimizationcruise.org. And I wanted to also give a discount code because Nichole is a presenter. She's got one that's custom for her, and it is HOC50. So it's Health Optimization Cruise 50. HOC50 means you'll get $50 off per person when you use this. And then Nichole, NICHOLE-F for Fogleman. So HOC50
Yes.
Nichole F is her code. And I'll put that in the description of the video where I have this. So, and I'll put the link to the cruise. And I'm excited too, because it sounds like I'm gonna learn something new from your presentation. Because I don't know much at all about the fermented foods and things,
Good, good.
and since you're in this space too, you probably have seen things that I know nothing about. And that's the great thing also about this, is that you're going to be around people who are always sharing and learning the new stuff. And really the other part is that you get to leave the house and don't feel like you have you have to recover from this trip when you get home. That's the other thing,
Yeah, I like that idea.
because
Very
that's
much.
hard,
I'm
right? I mean,
excited. Yes.
it's sad that we live in a society where you really can't do that. And
Yeah.
not for a week, not for a week long trip. I know Denise and I travel all the time. Unless you're eating out of the organic produce aisle, and nobody does that really. Okay, you're going to end up worse off than you were. But this cruise anyway is it. So yeah, and PBNSG, I just want to give a shout out to them. That's Plant-Based Nutrition Support Group, right? And that's
Yes.
Paul Chatlin, and I know even the Sage Circle Alliance now, because that's where I met you,
Yeah.
is through the Sage
Yes.
Circle Alliance. Even though you were pretty close to me geographically, I didn't know you were there
I
until
know. It's
Paul
exciting.
and Meryl started that group. So I'm really thankful for that.
And I've been looking at some of your videos of your farm in Virginia. So
Yes.
did you actually grow some of your pineapples or?
No, no, that's actually, that is a skill that I've learned where, ripe pineapples is a whole other thing. And
Okay.
the biggest thing with that is, since they're not grown in the continental US, is that you have to find good suppliers. And it just so happens that a lot of the good suppliers are over there in Western Virginia at certain grocery stores. So we kind of,
Oh.
it all fits our plan. I mean, I wouldn't have as high quality produce if I wasn't going out there. But then, of course, when I'm going out there, then we are growing chemical free, regenerative. We're doing grapes and cherries. We've just started with the growing process. It's going to take a couple of years to get fruit, but then hopefully, that as long as they're maintained properly, for generations, hopefully, ideally is the idea with that.
Well,
So
one of the things I wondered if you knew is, do you know, like with pineapples and the brain health, what they do actually, the connection with the pineapples and brain?
you can probably tell better than me. All I know is when you find them ripe, they're the most delicious fruit. If you can find it truly ripe, which is yellow, which is very hard to do.
Yeah. Well, actually, they help make serotonin. So
Ah,
that's one of that goes with that other hypothesis, the monoamine hypothesis, which is our neurotransmitters. And it actually helps make serotonin neurotransmitter.
that's
So,
awesome
and
because I can.
actually, yeah, another one is the pawpaw, because I saw something that you
Yes.
had done and you had made pawpaw like a was it a dessert out of the pawpaw fruit?
Yes, we do. We work in Northern Virginia because this is kind of more of a mid-Atlantic native. That pawpaw is a native fruit to the mid-Atlantic
Yeah.
states. And so it just grows on its own, even if you weren't there. And you can go and forage it and get it in other ways. And with the farm that we work in Northern Virginia, which is a much bigger working farm than the one that we have just started. And it's not as remote of an area. It's more in a developed area. So we have an event at harvest time every October called Plants to Table. And yeah, that's one of the dishes was our dessert. We call it
Yeah.
Paw Wonder Cake. And everything also there meets our healthy vegan food standard, but that's only one meal. It's only one meal, one time a year. The cruise is, every meal for a whole week. So it's even,
Yeah, that's cool. Well, next year I want to come to that dinner. That sounds really
yeah,
neat.
yes,
But
every year.
pawpaws, they actually do the same thing as pineapples.
Oh,
They
okay.
help boost serotonin in your brain too. So
Nice.
The
Well, I
little
can tell you,
tidbit.
Denise and I had 4 ripe pineapples that we shared between us for breakfast this morning. That's what we had.
Oh, that's
I think
nice.
yesterday we had, between breakfast and lunch, we probably ate 7 pineapples. That was yesterday. And then the day
Wow.
before, I think we probably had also about yeah, 6 or 7. It just depends what I can find. And that's usually breakfast or lunch. We won't have that for dinner because usually we want to not have those watery fruits for dinner, have more of a cooked meal or something that's less watery. Because then I find for me, like we're talking about health, right? I want to sleep through the night if I can, meaning I don't want to have to get up to go to the bathroom a couple of times.
Yeah.
If I have a lot of that watery fruit, I have to get up, and that disturbs your
Yeah.
sleep. So, and
Wow.
another thing I want to mention too is, even though I'm not outdoors, I'm standing up. Okay, I'm jumping because I also believe in doing what I can where I am. And if any of this appeals to you, any of what Nichole has mentioned or that we're talking about the cruise format, by all means, it's down below, healthoptimizationcruise.org. We'd love to have you. We still have room on the ship. And all the information, I don't even want to go into the information here. It's all on the website. There's so much information there. And even Nichole's information. If you want to learn more about her background, there's a little bit of a bio in there. And just go to the website, scroll down to the pink rectangle, and you'll see it says presenters. Click on that, and you'll see all the presenters. I think we have like 12 that are booked on the cruise. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, I mean, and you've been on cruises before, right? I think.
Yes, I've been to the Bermuda. I've been to, I think, 2 in the Caribbean.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm
Well, this is
excited.
this is the best time of the year to do Caribbean, in my opinion, because
Yeah.
you get out of winter. Because like I said, I'm all about that sun and the vitamin D. It's all part of health too. So I'm not saying there's anything wrong with living in any certain areas, but when you have the opportunity to get out of a low light environment and spend a week in a high light environment, right during that time when it's usually hard to find, that's to your benefit as well for your health.
Yes. And get out of the suburbs. You can tell I'm surrounded by the suburbs.
That's
So,
right. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, still, I mean, yeah, I'm glad that you're out there outside, and I'm looking forward to your talk. And if anybody has any other questions for Nichole, you can drop them down below as comments, and then maybe Nichole will answer them. I'm sure you'll do a Q&A also when you give your talk, right? So people have
Oh, sure.
specific questions.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
All right. Well,
Well,
thanks
thank
for.
you, Mike. I'm excited.
Yeah, you're welcome. I mean, I thank you for all your hard work because, I mean, you're obviously passionate about this space that you're in. And
Yes.
everybody, each presenter, like Nichole, she has her specialty. You've heard what it is. I mean, it's the mental health, right? It's a food, it's that gut connection, and of course, you have you're practicing in the medical industry right now, so you have
Yes.
a tremendous amount of experience, right? I mean, you can relate to people, what's going on in the world. And I think I'm sure you're happy to deliver good news to people, right?
Yes, definitely. And it's all about hope. So that's,
Yes.
my platform is hope for pain and to deliver hope for you and everybody else. So
Yeah. So
definitely.
I think you're like me. I'm an extreme optimist. Actually, I think I am now. The more I'm in this health space, I talk to people. I say to people, I don't know if I've told you, but my vision for the future is that we'll get to a point where people won't develop this non-communicable disease. And it sounds like a
Right.
lot of what you're discussing, right, is habit driven. You didn't catch it from somebody. So it's
Yeah.
lifestyle or non-communicable. And once that knowledge is out there, right, it's a matter of gathering it all and giving that to people, then eventually we'll get to a point where people don't develop these things anymore, right? That's what
Yes,
anyway.
that's our hope. Definitely.
Yeah, well,
Uh,
I think it'll happen. It'll happen. There's no question in my mind. That's why we're doing
I
what we're
hope so.
doing. We're trying to speed up the
Yes.
process because part of this process is you have to deliver an actual in-person event where you meet people who are into this too, and you get to eat the food that is not going to harm you in the way that all these presenters are asking you to do, correct? Because now if someone asks you to do this, for the most part, you have to eat in your own house. The minute you go out to eat, unless you're going to have a long conversation with the chef, which some restaurants will let you do, other than that, it's not common right now. That's also something we got to get into the mainstream, I think, and I think it will happen.
Yeah. Well, speaking of meeting people, I got to meet the chef and doc. Is that what they're called?
Doc and
The doc
Chef,
and
yeah, that's
the
right.
doc and chef. They were
Yes.
here in Richmond for the Veg Fest, and I got to meet them, so I was excited.
So that's Karen Dugan.
Yeah.
from St. Louis, and then Dr. Jim Loomis, he runs the Bernard Medical Center there in
Okay.
Washington, D.C. So, yeah, that's awesome because those are the folks who they were the first ones that signed up for our cruise when we first started planning it. It hadn't even existed yet, but they were ready to do it. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
and
They
also,
were their presentation was amazing. So I
did they
made their
do it?
salad. They had a beautiful salad that they made, and my husband and I made it that weekend, and it was great.
Okay, that's going
Uh,
to happen on the cruise too. I don't know what kind of setup you have there, but on the ship, I know you haven't been on the ship. They have this awesome like teaching kitchen on the back of the ship that opens up to a wall of windows where you just see the ocean out behind you, and that's our setup. It's great. And Doc and Chef are there. They're going to be doing 2 different cooking demonstrations. They may do a presentation as well. And let me also let people know who are interested in this event. We have our own private dining area. We don't have the whole ship. We would love to have 2,000 to 3,000 people join us, but right now we just don't do that. We don't have the this is a newer thing, right? This is even the information you're going to give us, Nichole, is most of which is probably brand new that people don't know. So we only have a certain number of people that really want to do this right now. It's going to grow every year. And so you get to eat with all the presenters too. We're in our private dining area. You kind of ask them questions, learn about what they do, learn about their experiences, so it's kind of like being in a small town, I guess, of people that are into this, right? Who want to do the best,
yes.
just do the best they can wherever you are in your journey. And
And what a
yeah,
better way to go on vacation with like-minded people. So it's exciting.
that's right. That's right.
Uh,
And we're excited. Nichole, again, I'm looking forward to your talk. Thank you
thank
for
you.
joining us. Thank you for all that you do. And I just look forward to, and maybe soon after this, we can, like, I think we've already talked about it. We'll meet up again in Richmond, right?
Yeah, that sounds good. So
All right. Well,
we'll find someone where a little bit, I don't know, maybe more fine dining experience.
yeah, I
So
think over time, right, as time goes on, more people will be open to this and it'll be easier to do. Right now,
yeah,
it's just like we're in pioneer time, so it's hard. It's okay. We understand. It's a challenge, okay? Because if it wasn't, well, everyone can benefit because most people are touched by this in some way, which we don't want them to be, but these non-communicable diseases. So there's so much upside to it that we're happy to address the challenges that are there.
all right, sounds good.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
you're welcome and have a great rest of the evening in Richmond, Virginia.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.